So let me get on to the facts, Trinidad and Tobago. All right? Here's the facts. The People's National Movement is the one that crippled the sea bridge in Trinidad and Tobago, and particularly service in Tobago, because they refused to do what was needed to be done to actually secure the people of Tobago and secure the business sector in Tobago. So all the talk now about Jearlean John and about Kamla and UNC and it's our fault and it's government and the sea bridge collapse and that, Farley Augustine don't care and all kind of nonsense now is hogwash. Let me remind you, when the Cabo Star lease was ended, it was Jearlean John that went straight across to Tobago to speak to the people of Tobago, to consult and say, hey, what all you want? And that is a result, the blue wave is a result of what the people wanted, what they wanted across St. Tobago. And it's a new boat, for sure. People talking about, when I say new, you all know what I mean. People talking all kind of nonsense. But when the Jean de la Valette was here, spending over $263,000 a day, people said nothing. All right? People said nothing. People said nothing when Keith Rowley crippled the sea bridge. When the boats, we had the passenger vessels, when the passenger vessels broke down out at sea and people had to jump from one boat to the other, it wasn't an issue then, but it's an issue now. People are jumping from one boat to the other, People getting to go across to Tobago. Are the boats in perfect condition? No, but that's how we met it. That's how the government met it. That's how Jearlean John met it. And of course, the government will do what needs to be done to ensure that we have a proper working sea and air bridge. But don't be hypocritical in blaming the UNC administration, when in reality, it's a fault of the PNM. It's the mismanagement of the People's National Movement over the past 10 years, over the past decade. What was wrong in the past 10 years cannot just be corrected in 10 months. I'll remind you of that. And it is Kamla, UNC, Jearlean John that's securing new vessels for Tobago or secured a new cargo ship for Tobago, the Blue Wave Harmony, which is servicing, and Jearlean John just proved that it is servicing. But when they had this, y'all remember the Jean de la Valette? Y'all remember this boat, the Jean de la Valette? Y'all remember this? When they started servicing and this was a passenger vessel. You remember this? You remember the whole issue with the sea bridge, Trinidad and Tobago? Y'all remember that? For the past 10 years, who collapsed the sea bridge? Was it the opposition UNC or was it the government PNM? And who is to blame today for the blatant breakdown of the sea bridge? Who is to blame? I remember the Cabo Star catching a fire plenty times. And they still had it. They still, service it and paid right back in operations. Right back in operations. But you're blaming Kamla and you're blaming UNC. All right. Well, this one is for the PNM, Penelope Beckers, and all of them. In case you open your fridge and you close it at the same time this story had come out, well, I'll replay it again for you. So if you're listening tonight, listen closely to the story.
Welcome to News TT. If you've tried to get between Trinidad and Tobago in the last year and a half, you know the pain both citizens and tourists alike are feeling. So with that in mind, here are 10 facts about the sea bridge fiasco. Fact 1. The collapse of the Trinidad to Tobago sea bridge began when the Superfast Galicia pulled out of our waters because the Keith Rowley administration refused to sign an 18-month promise contract for the vessel. Tobago business owners and the general public were satisfied with the Galicia, and many questioned why the government refused to sign the contract.
We don't want to hear that is this person or that person. What we need is a vessel. We put a government there and they're supposed to fix the problem.
The court board even claimed to have approved the 18-month contract and did not know why the minister did not sign.
18 months was approved. The dredging was approved. The minister, Mr. Hines, approved it.
There was an offer, acceptance, and therefore there was an 18-month contract.
And I'm hearing a lot about 18-month contract, and so that I had nothing to do with that.
If that 18 months contract was put in place and cemented, half of horrors and the swim by Watson Joe would not have been warranted.
This was the beginning of a disaster which plagues Trinidad and Tobago to this day. Fact 2. Adding to the crisis was the government's decision to replace ferry maintenance firm Bay Ferries. Since the exit of Bay Ferries, the fast ferry service has been plagued with maintenance issues. 2 mandatory dry dockings of the 2 fast ferries were missed. The TNT Spirit has been on dry dock since June 2017 after a fire broke out in the engine room due to poor maintenance. The TNT Express has broken down multiple times since. The combination of the removal of the Superfast Galicia and Bay Ferries has devastated the Tobago Sea Bridge. Fact 3. With the departure of the Galicia, the Keith Rowley government decided to bypass normal tender processes in order to get a barge to temporarily provide cargo services.
The Tobago division is being forced to use the badge. It's not that we want to use the badge.
They are talking about a badge, but we make it plain to them that is total disrespect to Tobago and Tobagonians.
The barge was supplied by Trinity Offshore Supply and Tow Limited, a company run and co-owned by David Brash. But more on this later. Fact 4. With the 2 fast ferries constantly breaking down, the Keith Rowley government turned to Bridgman's Services Limited to lease a cargo vessel, the Cabo Star, and a passenger vessel, the Ocean Flower 2. When the contract was signed with Bridgman's, they did not own either vessel. This was the first time the company had gotten into the ferry leasing business.
TV6 News contacted Tanel Hino, the technical manager of Bridgman Services Group, with their other loan officer in Estonia, who admitted they were just getting their feet wet in the ferry business.
It was later shown that the company's Canadian offices were abandoned.
Further digging revealed that there were also a similar problem with Bridgman's Trinidad Limited, which initial registration revealed had only been formed unbelievably on June 15, 2017.
Further, the port board ignored information it had, which indicated that Bridgman's was a financially risky company to do business with. A journalist investigating these matters was offered a bribe of at least $1 million to stop reporting on the matter.
I have people who witnessed it, where somebody came up to me at a function and said, "Let's make this all go away, I'll write you a check tomorrow," because he said that they were a very close friend of one of the government officials.
Fact 5. A special tender process was again used to select Bridgman's. This time, the cabinet did not see the contracts until after they were signed, under the approval of the Prime Minister and Attorney General. It was later revealed that the signed contracts indicated that commissions would be paid by outside agreement. When discussing the contracts, the Prime Minister indicated that the country was paying more than $1 million extra per month for the Cabo Star because of what appeared to be corruption.
Dr. Rowley, as the head of the country and the cabinet, are you convinced that something has drastically gone wrong and is crooked in this transaction?
Yes. My yes means a lot to me.
To date, no person or entity has been charged with corruption and no arrests have been made. Fact 6.
The Cabo Star cargo vessel is now being described as a health hazard.
Truckers complained that there wasn't enough space on board for trucks and passengers. The truckers also complained about a rat infestation. Fact 7. When the Ocean Flower 2, which should have been in the country by July 2017, failed to arrive by August, its contract was cancelled.
It was only after Chief Engineer Brandon Powder's report on the Ocean Flowers 2 faulty engines and other mechanical problems in Panama that the Port Authority cancelled the contract with Bridgman's.
Fact 8. In November 2017, Prime Minister Keith Rowley appointed 4 PNM ministers to find a new ferry. The port board and tender rules were bypassed as NIDCO carried out the minister's instructions. The team has picked Galleon's Passage. With the Galleon's Passage, it will now take 4 hours to get to Tobago and can accommodate passengers and vehicles, but the vehicles will be exposed to sea blast as it is not covered. There have been claims that the Galleon's Passage is too short and too light for the open seas between Trinidad and Tobago and could become another vomit comet. Fact 9. Several questions are now being raised about the Galleon's Passage. Apart from the fact that the Galleon's Passage is slower and smaller than what was recommended by the ferry stakeholders, the vessel is also built for use in sheltered waters and not the open seas between Trinidad and Tobago. Questions are also being asked as to why Imbert and others are using international broking services to buy the vessel. In 2008, Trinidad and Tobago purchased 3 water taxis via the same company under the watchful eye of then Works and Transport Minister Com Imbert. The boats were procured by NIDCO under the chairmanship of David Brash. Remember him? He's the guy who leased us the barge last year. Anyway, the HC Katia, the HC Olivia, and the HC Melancia were purchased for $36 million and lasted only 2 years on the service before breaking down. All are currently moored at the Coast Guard facility in Chaguaramas and may soon be sold as scrap iron. Fact 10. To date, no clear assessment has been done on the impact on Tobago's economy of the collapse of the sea bridge over the past 18 months. Chairman of the Inter-Island Transport Committee of the Tobago Chamber, Diane Haddad, has described the sea bridge collapse as a criminal act against the people of Tobago.
It's about time Tobagonians get up and stand up for what's theirs. That's my position.
In the last week, Tobago hotels faced massive cancellations because of the collapse of the passenger ferry service.
I feel like it's a circus we're running and all we have is a bunch of clowns. We have not gotten the other acts together. It's only the clowns performing.
The chairman of PNM Tobago and THA Chief Secretary, Kelvin Charles, has been reserved to the point of silence on the issue of the sea bridge and its impact on Tobagonians. And the ferry saga continues.
If you had the ear of the Minister of Transport this morning, what would you tell Rohan?
You don't want to hear it on television.
Don't forget to like and share this video.
So that was the sea bridge collapse, Trinidad and Tobago. That was the sea bridge collapse. So is any of that happening now? Is any purchases to friends, families, and elites happening now? Because the answer is clearly not. Right? So everything that the PNM and people complaining on social media, it's not actually from the people of Tobago. It's from their own political biases. That's all it is. And it's all because UNC in charge now and PNM is not. And PNM want to be in charge. That's the only thing.